So let me get this straight. You failed. Now, how are you going to survive the storm of this failed project? Listen, family, I have to be honest here. Now, normally I give you my introduction and normally I go through all of that, but today is a little bit different. The reason why today is different is that a lot of people sign up for this thing that I love, that I hope you fall in love with, called project management. And there's not enough project managers that's in this field that's describing the holistic approach, or I should say, to basically the approach to leading projects and what happens when you fail. Well, you know, your boy ED got you covered today because I want to dig into today's episode, which is entitled "What Happens to Project Managers when a project actually fails or a project fails." If you don't know, family, I have an 8 point framework. In this 8 point framework, I unpack today's title, which is entitled again, "What Happens to Project Managers When a Project Fails." You see, you have to understand this, family, is that um, when you made a decision to join this profession, that they don't tell you that what happens when a project actually fails. What is it? Is it because of you? Is it because of the team? Who is it? Who is the reason why this project failed? Well, family, I'm gonna be upfront and I'm gonna be honest with you. It is your fault. It's your fault because you are the coach of that team. See, a lot of times when you look at when a coach is removed or let go from a team, uh, it has nothing to do with the players. It's not like the players were, because the coach is not playing the game, so he has no control over that. The only control he has is to influence, to inspire, to hold people accountable for doing what they're doing. But if the players decide not to show up or the players decide not to play, then the coaches let go. And that's the same thing that can happen to you as a project manager. If your stakeholder decides not to play fair, they decide not to really execute on the work, if they decide not to do the proper risk, creating a proper risk log and risk register, if they decide, if they make all of these decisions, is a reflection on you. And now we're going to walk through this my 8 point framework of how I would attack it, exactly what I would do. This is exactly what I would do. No particular order, family, except one of them. There's only one that I have that is a particular order. And I also want to say to family, a lot of times when projects do fail, I know I just said it's your fault, you're accountable, but sometimes you don't have any control over that. What do you mean, ED? Well, what I mean is that you don't have control over if the company decided to no longer to cut the funds that were associated with the project. I know what you're thinking because I got my smart project managers out there. They're like, well, normally you already know the type of money that you're going to get up front. You do. You do know that. But have you ever worked a project where your project budget has been cut because they decided to allocate money elsewhere? See, we don't talk about that. See, and that's the importance, family. I want to be able to bring these to new projects because I have a lot of people that a lot of family members that's watching the channel that are thinking of getting in this profession or started off as are actually project coordinators, and I don't think anyone gives them more of an in-depth look of what it's like to do. This is an amazing profession, family. The things that you can accomplish as far as just for you in general, and then if you love people, that's just the cherry on top. All right, let me stop going off into this. Let's unpack these eight. I'm really passionate about this because this question was asked to me from one of my mentees. He was just like, what happens when a project fails? And it just made me want to dig deeper on this and say, again, it may be a money issue. It may be even a resource where your resources might even get prioritized, or you had they want you to crunch down the timelines, and if you crunch down the timelines, the project will definitely not come out how what the customer wants, and so you have to make a decision to go ahead and shut down that project. So anyway, let's move on. Let's move to point number one: professional reassessment. What does that look like? So the project has failed. You should take time to reassess you first, you as a person, meaning, let me look at my skill set. Is there something that I need to add? Because you should always be working on your skill set, regardless of if this is year one or year 20 that you've been in there. See, the ones that get at the year 20 or 10s and 5s, they get comfortable. And so you're watching this, you're not someone that's going to get comfortable. You're exceptional. And when you're exceptional, you really take things not for granted, but you're grateful for where you're at, but you're even grateful for more where you're going. Oh, I like that. So what I'm saying is check your skill set, family. Check your competencies. See if you need to go take any some training on leadership, or some training on sales and persuasion or influence, or hey, read this book behind me called The Magnetic Project Manager by yours faithfully and truly, Edward Koch Jr. But I'm saying that to say, family, do a reassessment on your skill set and see what that looks like, because that's going to help you decide, well, maybe I take on too much, or did I not take on enough, and because I didn't do that, some of my skills got buried away. Hey, family, I really want to thank you guys for really watching today. This episode, this is really dear to my heart, because again, a lot of people do not talk, or say a lot of project managers don't talk about what happens when a project fails, and really, remove the curtain and let you walk in and see kind of what's happening. So thank you for watching. Please, I do mean, baby, please hit that subscribe and like button, because without it, how can we get any action or let the algorithm know that you really like what you're seeing? All right, let's move on to point number 2. Comprehensive project review. Hey, this is a deep dive, and I'm talking about such a deep dive that you need to be able to get to the bottom, and I do mean the root cause of why did this doggone project fail? Was it a stakeholder? Was it something that a stakeholder said? Did they, is it, you need to get to the bottom. My recommendation, if it was me, and again, if it was me doing this, my actionable step would be I would create a SWOT analysis. Oh my God, no, you're talking about a SWOT. Yes, I would leverage the SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis for the strength. I would look at the weaknesses, the opportunities, and what were the threats that created this. And I would dissect this project so well, because I want to be able to get prepared for what is going to come next. And I know you don't know, like, what is he talking about? What's going to come next? I'm going to walk you to what's going to come next. After that, I will document, if I haven't, we should have been documenting our lessons learned through the whole project anyway. And I would make sure I will go revisit all my emails, revisit any teams or any type of chat, just go through everything, make sure that's loaded in my lessons learned register. And I would go through that, and I would talk with the team and share it with the team and say, hey, these are the lessons learned that I truly believe that we actually had. All right, point number 4 is really being able to communicate with your stakeholders. We need to have open, transparent conversation. Now, I will say this is my caveat. If you get people in the room that cannot have this open, transparent conversation, and you identify the people that are speaking up, you may want to have multiple sessions. You may want to have a session with the people that do have that are more vocal, and then have a session with the people that are not as vocal. That is going to take more time to pull it out of them, which is great. But what you don't want to do is have these crowds blended together, because what'll happen is, and I've seen this more times than I would like to count for, but what'll happen is the person that's more vocal will drown out the other person, meaning that the people that are more quiet, and I don't want to use the word passive, but they want to make sure that you care. And a lot of times project managers are not taking on that whole aspect of what I talk about of nurturing relationship. You don't need to, you forget showing, you need to care, because these people are counting on you just as much as you're counting on them. So why not care? You're working with them, 8 to plus hours a day, whatever your schedule looks like, I should say a week. So why not count on them? Why not develop that courage and trust in them? So I challenge you, family, is when you are work with someone, and you notice people are talking more than other people, hey, no problem. You just set up another meeting with the people that were talking, get some more information out of them, and set up a meeting with the people that were not as talkative, because now you're going to have to act like you're in the first 48. You're going to have to ask a lot of questions. You like that first 48? Anyway, I digress. So anyway, moving on to point number 4. Point number 4 is really around rebuilding confidence. You're going to need this, family. You just went through a lot, and I know to some people that doesn't seem like it's a lot, but if you've never failed at anything, especially in your career, you may take this personally, and you should take it personally, but you shouldn't take it personally that you're going to continue to lay there and continue to sit there and continue to stay there. Because if you're going to continue to sit there and lay there, then this probably profession is not for you, because you're going to have to bounce back. Oh, I got something for you, family. I was just thinking about this as I was describing the point. When I was little, there used to be this ball, this little thing where basically at the bottom of it was a weight, right? And then I would sit on the thing, and then when I got up, it would pop back up. Every time I sat on it, it would stay there. But anytime I got up, it would pop back up. And you could punch it and hit it, and it'll go back and it'll pop back up. I don't. You could kick the thing. It would. Point I'm trying to be like, trying to say, family, is that in this thing that I love, that I hope you fall in love, called project management, that analogy about that it was a blow up thing with some weight at the bottom. You have to be someone that can bounce back after a failed project. It's not going to be easy, but it's not going to be hard either. And you need to do what you need to do is this next project that you get, you need to set small, achievable goals to rebuild your confidence. Like, yes, I can do this. Yes, I was meant for this. And I'm going to show them that they either shouldn't have turned the project off early, or that, hey, this was a mistake. And a mistake is something that's temporary. Don't make a permanent decision on a project when it's not a permanent decision, because this is a temporary opportunity for you to watch this, family, change your mindset, change the way that you look at it, and then when you get your next project, to go ahead and actually attack it. All right. I don't know where we are in the points, so I think we're in point number 6. But if not, I apologize. I'm just really into this one because it really means a lot to me, family, to watch you guys out there asking questions, and really, I want to see you win. So focus on the team morale and support. What does that look like? As you're rebuilding yourself personally, you need to also rebuild your team. You probably want to, what you're going to want to do is organize some team building activities. If there's no budget for the team building, you don't need money to organize team building activities. Instead of say, act like you're going, call a meeting, and then when everyone gets to the meeting, let them know, hey, we're not talking about anything project related. I got a game for us to play. And you can Google, virtual games. If you're on site, you can find something where you can do it. And I'll give you an example: Two Truths and a Lie. That's a game that doesn't cost anything, and you're the moderator. So what you want to do, because what you want to have happen is build back that team morale, build back that trust, build back that confidence from your team. All right, let's move on. I do believe we're on point 7. Innovative problem solving for future projects. What that basically meaning is just really think like, how could I, how can I, for my future projects, how can I be more innovative in my thinking and problem solving? As I told you, project management, if you were asking me what some of the core foundations are, problem solving would be one of those that really stands out a lot, because you have to have the ability to problem solve and be creative with it at time. Because something that you may think is just as simple as, well, we could just turn this switch off, and then all of a sudden everything will work, and you find out that's a disaster. That really wasn't a good example, but the point I'm trying to make, family, is that you want to be creative, because the more creative you can be, and having people poke holes at it to find out what will work, that's probably what you're going to end up going with. Point number 8: enhancing stakeholder engagement. Family, just making sure that you develop a plan to engage stakeholders more effectively, including regular feedback loops. What I've learned, family, is that a lot of times stakeholders get left out until it's too late. And now we're at a position where, oh man, we need them to provide us. We should have included them much earlier, because now we're finding out all this information, which is going to take longer for us to execute, which may end up pushing the project timeline out further, which may affect the cost. So all of these things, like one thing, it's like a domino effect. The later that you bring stakeholders onto your project, it's going to be harder for you to finish that project on time and under budget. I will say I got 2 bonuses for you. Look at your risk reassessment. Assessment. What that means is basically taking time to look at the risk that you had documented. Did you document, were you staying in front of your risk before they turned into an issue? Were you being aggressive and bringing those risks up during each meeting that you have, or every time you had a touch point with the team? Were you bringing that up? Let's move on to my last and final bonus, and this means the world. Building resilience and adaptability. Listen, resilience is cool, but having the ability to adapt is going to be your key. Having the ability to adapt means that you are willing to, you won't, and I know I get in trouble for this all the time, but it's all good. You're not saying, well, I don't do that because that's not my job, and you're part of this team. You probably want to help the team out. And again, you don't have to, because like I said, it's not your job. However, if you come in with that type of mindset, your team is not going to trust you. Your team is not going to feel like they can count on you. And so you want to have that collaborative mindset. Now, I want to park there too and say, you don't want to have it where you're getting misused, because there's a difference. Now, when someone misuses you, that means is that they are taking advantage of you, versus when they use you, and use you as a way of saying, hey, all right, I've helped you with this. Now, could you help me with that? It's an even exchange. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I go by the name of ED. Until next time, I'm out.